So now I'm going to actually begin from where I stopped in the last video recording I did. So let me now go to the ability schools and then scroll down and review where we stopped so we can continue. So this is the code we were trying to understand. And I actually went through it. So again, I will emphasize use Notepad to write the code and don't practice in the web editor because the code stays in the web editor and you cannot see it. You cannot see what to do. You cannot keep record of it. So I suggest you practice in Notepad. That will be very fun. So let's actually move on to the next example. So already we have seen the definition of HTML, so we just go over it quickly. So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. HTML describes the structure of a web page. So HTML is just a structure language. It's only for structure, only for writing content on a web page and nothing else. So any other thing you want to do, then you have to use, of course, some other languages, and that you'll get to know about some. So HTML consists of a series of elements. So elements, tags, uh, anchor, markup, they are all used interchangeably and they mean the same thing. So HTML elements tell the browser how to display the content. Okay, so HTML element is actually going to be saying, hey browser, this is how I want to appear. And this is what I want you to show. I want you to show some HTML content like this, like text. I want you to show it text like this way. I want you to show it that way. So that's what HTML element actually does. So HTML element label pieces of content such as this is a heading, this is a paragraph, this is a link, and etc. So a simple HTML document. So already we've seen at least two couple of HTML tags in action. We saw the H1 tag in action. We saw a paragraph tag in action. So example explain, already I explained this. The doc type HTML declaration defines that this document is an HTML5 document, all right? The HTML element is the root element of an HTML page. The head element contains meta information about the HTML page. So in addition to the title, you also want to put some information in your HTML page, in the header part of the HTML page, to just say this is about my page. So you want to put author, you want to include some other files, you want to specify the view width of your page, and a lot of things you can actually specify in the header. Yes. So the title element specifies a title for the HTML page, which is shown in the browser's title bar on the page tab. So this is what they are talking about. So introduction to HTML is the title of this page in the browser title bar. So this place or this region of the web browser is the title bar. So for this tab, it's actually meet MZR XVPX MZQ. So there's the title of this page. All right. So and it's a continuum for okay. The body element defines the document's body and is a continuum for all the visible contents such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, and etc. So the body tag is the subparent tag to the HTML parent tag. So inside of the HTML parent tag, you have all the other tags, and inside of the body tag, you have almost all the tag with the exception of the head tag, the element tag. All right. So the body tag is one of the main parent tags. And now you have a couple of tags. You have the h1 tag, and on the h1 element define a large heading, very huge heading. And then you have the paragraph tag, and the paragraph tags just so render some text on the browser and say, okay, I want to have a block of text on my browser or on my web page and just like that. So what is an HTML element? An HTML element is defined by a short tag, some content, and an end tag. So do you understand what I mean? An HTML element is defined by a start tag, some content, and an end tag. Now I mentioned this in a previous recording. You must have a beginning and closing tag, and then you write whatever you write with the appropriate tag. Okay, so the HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. As I told you before, this is just a plain markup language, tag language. Everything you'll be writing, or almost everything you'll be writing in your HTML document, is just markup, it's just tag. So if you really want to master HTML, you have to just know that it's a tag language from start to end. Tag is one tag, p tag, and rest of them. All right. So let's actually go and see a couple of other things. So HTML page structure. So it's a very important concept and really pay attention to this because this is how the HTML render in web browser. So first and foremost, you have the HTML parent tag, you have the head tag, you have the title. Within the title is the head and body. But notice something here. Everything is really sitting in a container, and actually, I want to say in a box. So if you take a look, you see the HTML parent tag sitting in the box. You see, as I'm moving around here or in this region. Now you come down to the head tag. The head tag too is also in a box, and title is also in the box. So the model of HTML is that every element or every tag is really sitting in the box. So that's how you have to think about every element on your HTML page. Everything is really sitting inside of a box. All right. Okay. So we have a history of HTML, of course, from the early days of HTML up to, the latest version of HTML from 1989 to, of course, 2017. So you have had different versions and upgrade in the language every time. All right. So what you have to have in order to write HTML code. So we have to look now at HTML editors. Okay. So editor is just a application. It can be system or utility application, which you can use to write HTML code. And it's just a notepad application like the one we have in Microsoft Windows Notepad. So this is the default or the system application for Windows you use to write HTML code in Notepad. All right, but there are also some utility applications that you can download to write your HTML code. Like you use Notepad++, you use Bracket, you use Sublime Text, you use Atom, you use Visual Studio Code, you use a lot. So there are a lot of text editor out there. So learn HTML using Notepad or text edit. So TextEdit is the system app for Mac OS. So web pages can be created and modified by using professional HTML editors. However, for learning HTML, we recommend a simple text editor like Notepad for PC or TextEdit for Mac. We believe in that using a simple text editor is a good way to learn HTML. Very good because you see how you're writing your code and your code are written in order. The text editor is designed, developed in a way that you write code in a unique way and you understand. Okay. So follow the step below to create your first web page with Notepad or text edit. So either if you're using Windows or Mac. So step one, you have to open Notepad like the way we have Notepad here. Notepad is already open. And then open the start string. Okay. Like on Windows, you just say Windows. You hit Windows key and then this pop up and you can text name of the app you want to open and now want to open Notepad. So we say note and then we can just enter Notepad. You already have it open. Okay. So let's actually move down. And then this is for Mac. All right. So unlike Windows, OS is Mac OS interface is kind of different. And right now I don't have a Mac computer, but Mac OS is kind of different. But nothing much. Only you have to follow the instruction. Open Finder and then application and text edit. All right. So the text editor for Mac OS text edit, and you can write your HTML code in text edit in Mac OS, and you can still have the same HTML page in Windows as the same in Mac. So and on our open and save, check the box that says display HTML file of HTML code itself, formatted text. So there's the option now. So normally if you're going to write your HTML code in text edit, it will be taking it as just ordinary text. So you have to change the option. So you click on the preference tab and then format and then choose plain text. And then you can save it with the extension .html. Otherwise, it would just be like a display. It will just be something that will not run as HTML. Okay. So write some HTML. Write or copy the following HTML code into Notepad. So like this, we've practiced already, and we have on the left side of the string, and this is the output. This is a heading. This is a paragraph. So let's make this much bigger. You can see. All right. And this is a heading, and this is a paragraph. Okay. So we don't want to use the bitly full web edit because it steals our code. So HTML based example. So in this chapter, we will show some basic HTML examples. So don't worry if we use tags you have not learned about yet. So obviously there are much more tag in HTML than you can think about. A matter of fact, as the language is being upgraded every time, new tags, new semantics are being developed. So you will never get to know all the HTML tags. There are many of them. So all HTML documents must start with a document type declaration. In this case, HTML5. So with a play like this, all right? Doc type HTML. All right. The HTML document itself begins with HTML and ends with HTML. The visible part of the HTML document is between body and body. So body open tag and body close tag. So this is the part of the HTML page you can already see. All right. So if we just take this code from here and cut it and say save, and we go back here and refresh, you actually not see anything because uh, before the body tag, the HTML page really doesn't render or say anything about the page. It is only when you define the body tag you really start to see some content into the page. So let's put this code back here and save it. Now we have the body tag, and then when we come back and refresh, you see we have what we had before. So the visible part of the HTML document is between body and body closing. All right. So we don't want to try it ourselves because you steal our code. So HTML headings. So HTML headings are defined with the H1 to H6 headings. So note, whenever you open a tag, you have to close it. So in the case of heading 1 to 6, so heading 1 open, heading 1 closes. All right. So we say R6 headings and HTML. So let's close H1. All right. And then we save. Okay. So all the 6 headings can be defined like this. All right. So we'll copy this code to not waste time and then just paste into the browser. Okay. This is heading 1, this is heading 2, this is heading to the node. Each heading tag is closed with the appropriate heading tag. So each one is closed with H1, H2, H2, H3, and H3. All right. So if you say try yourself, you actually go on to see the exact same thing. So when we save, we come back to the page and refresh. You see there are 6 heading in HTML, and then this is heading 1, this is heading 2, this is heading 3. So note how each of these heading is appearing in the page. So the first one is very large, and then the second one is 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 much large, is less large as compared to the first one, and the same thing with the third one. So going all the way to element number 4 or number 6, you just see the exact same thing. So let's actually change the type and then change it. We'll save and refresh. We'll save and refresh. There you go. So it's still saying heading 1, heading 2 because we have not changed inside of it. But this is heading 4, this is 5, and this is 6. So we're going to change it and say 4, 5, and 6. And now when we save and come back, you see, it is changed accordingly. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so let's skip that. So HTML paragraph, we saw the paragraph tag, and this is a paragraph. This is another paragraph. All right. So copy this and put it right into our code and say this is another paragraph. Save. We'll come back here and refresh. You should see this is another paragraph. Okay, so let's actually come to links. So HTML links are defined with the A tag. So there's one key tag in HTML you don't want to forget, because this is really the heart of HTML. This is what really mean. This is what HTML really means. Hypertext markup language, which means a text that lead to another text. A text that lead to another. A text on a web page that leads to another web page or another website. So this is really the heart of HTML. So the way you define a link is by using this A tag, all right? So say A HTTPS www.w3schools.com. This is a link to the www3 schools website. So we take this code and copy, and then go ahead and insert into our browser. Of course, this is a very long code, so let's kind of break it up so we can see. And when we save and refresh, we have a link. And the link is a link to a directory. So if we actually go ahead and click this link, it will open a new tab to this website. So I actually go and click this. Now it open up a new tab. All right. So let's actually go back. We don't want this. So this is how you insert the link, by using the A tag. And when you use the A tag, you have to close it up. All right. So another important tag. So the link destination is specified in the href attribute. Okay. So the way you want to specify the kind of file you want to retrieve or the kind of web page you want to open is by using the href attribute. And you're actually going to put the file address in this href. It is if it is on your local drive, you put the file path in this href attribute. But if it is a website, you have to specify the global URL or the URL of that website into the href attribute, and it's going to take you there. So this is how you define href, and this is how you pass the URL or the local file path to the href attribute. All right. So the link destination is specified in the href attribute. Okay. Attributes are used to provide additional information about HTML elements. Okay. So you will learn more about attributes in later chapter. So HTML images. Yes, this is another cool thing you might like to see in HTML. So HTML images are defined with the image tag. So we're actually going to stop on HTML image, and we can begin maybe recording some other lecture. So HTML image are defined with the image tag. So every content you really want to have on the HTML page, you have the corresponding tag for that. So the way you insert images into an HTML page is really by using this H tag, right? So the source file src, alternative text, width and height are provided as attributes. So like we saw in the A tag so far as we saw had just the href attribute is one of the main attributes. For the image tag has a couple of attributes. So the src attribute is one, the out attribute is another one, width attribute is another one, height attribute is another one. And you cannot really have an image inserted into your web page without these attributes. They're really important. Maybe you might omit the out, but you cannot omit source, width, and height. So I'm actually going to stop here for now, and we continue in the next recording. Okay.